Hey, it's Paul. So this is part 2 of my discussion of Asperger syndrome and how it affects me. So, like I said in the last video, I'm doing these back to back because I am long-winded and I want to cut these into more manageable pieces because I know this. So, starting from the last one, I was talking about being tolerated, and I am very much tolerated, but not accepted, and I'm used to that. With the what it says with the vocabulary, so you could walk up to me and you maybe a 10-minute conversation with someone if you were just a complete stranger, and we would talk and you're like, oh, he's normal. But as you get to know me, then if you don't know what Asperger's is and I don't tell you, then you're gonna think I'm weird and stay your distance, which is fine. Like I said, I've gotten used to it at this point in my life. It does hurt quite a bit, and there's some bullying involved, and even to this day I'm still bullied and tolerated. So working with down to the emotional part, most people would call us cold. We're not cold. Our brains are wired very differently, and the thing with people with Asperger's, and it's very prevalent with people with autism. And this is one of those symptoms that doesn't hit everyone. We are incredibly loyal. I consider ourselves the beagles of the human race. We are just loyal as heck. We don't hate, if that makes sense. I try to explain this to people and they don't quite understand it. They're like, you don't hate? I don't got that bone in my body. I've never been able to really hate someone. I can dislike someone, but I will still be attempt to be their friend. It's the way I am. And I can give you a lot of really good examples. When I was in high school, I was studying to be a mechanic. And I was very quiet. My teacher knew this, so he'd let me do what I needed to do to study. Well, the kids didn't like that. So they would do stupid stuff. At this day and age, it would be considered, hate crimes or whatever. But they would spray, slurs on my locker in the shop, faggot. So, and they would expect me to get mad, but I just never got mad. I would tell my teacher I need some 409, and I clean it off. Very quiet. And they couldn't wrap their head on how they could never get a reaction out of me. And part of it was kind of funny. But I don't have that bone in my body. I've told people that you could be my worst enemy, or I could be, if any other person, you could hate me, tell me to drop dead, roll over, and dog crap and die. But if you were stranded in the middle of nowhere, 6 hours away, and I'm the last person, I'm in your phone and you call me and you say, Paul, I'm out of gas. I don't want to call you, but I ain't got no choice. I say, I'll be there in 6 hours. I'd get a 5-gallon thing of gas, bring it out to you, fill you up, wouldn't even charge you. If something now I will get upset if someone does something mean to me. It may take me a day or two just to kind of wrap my head around it, but that'll take you out to lunch. It's just the way we are. We're just wired differently. And going into the emotional, we have problems with loss. We compute it differently. We have issues with explaining it, if that makes any sense. We don't understand a lot of concepts, and I don't. I have a lot of problems with concepts with dating. We have problems understanding, and we have problems with closure, if that makes sense. And I will kind of extrapolate on that. Unlike normal people, communication for us is very key, and actually communication is key to all walks of life. We need the communications. Beavers slap their tails on the water to signal. Foxes have the chirps. And we have text, we have messaging, we have these styles of communication, which is great. But therein lies a problem. Because our social interactions are so limited, communication is very hard. And when we lose that communication, it is at times devastating. Really, really good example is Facebook. Facebook is great in some ways. But in other ways, it's not. Same with email. I email, but I don't like it. And it goes back to that non-literal explanation. If I type something or I get a response from someone, I don't feel the emotion in it. I can't feel the emotion, and we can't. So we just read it as words on a page. Instead of, you could use all caps, it's like you're screaming. I don't get it. So a lot of times if I'm emailing and I want to tell Jay something, I will put it in a video. Because for me, it's easier to correlate what I want to say, because I many, many times will type something that means one thing, but to someone else means completely a different thing. I hate that. But going that route with Facebook. Now, very good example is Facebook is great in the corresponding and stuff like that. But we have a problem when it comes to the blocking or being ghosted. For most people, being ghosted maybe is fine. It's like, oh, they don't like me. For us, it's like someone has died. We wonder what we did when we're blocked. And sometimes we say the wrong thing, and all of a sudden we're blocked, and we can't fix it. Most people, if they get blocked, they're like, "Oh, screw them." For us, we're trying to figure out what we did wrong, and we're trying to fix it. We are fixers. Sounds kind of weird, but we're fixers. We want to try and fix the situation so they will talk to us again. That's how we are. And it's like someone has died. If we're talking to someone else and they disappear, we're just like frantic. It is hard. It really is. And if we don't know what we did wrong, we don't get the closure to kind of not really move on. But we want to have friends, and a lot of times we don't get that. So we're having this problem with that. And it's hard. It really is one of the hardest things for us as Aspies. I can give you a very, very good example. My very first girlfriend, we'll call her C. She was the one who got me out of my shell into the dating game. And we dated for a couple months. And she dumped me on my brother's birthday. But what she did was, she just said it's over and then just completely stopped contact. And I didn't know what I did wrong. And I tried to contact her. I tried everything. And she wouldn't open up. And so I felt bad. I literally didn't know what to do. And I loved her with all my heart. It took about 2 years. And I sent her an email, and I still tried everything. And I met my second girlfriend, Jay, trying to get C back. And with Jay, I was able to get some closure. And then I fell in love with Jay. But Jay dumped me for some reasons I'm not going to get into. Ouch. So that's an issue I'm not going to get into. I never will. But a couple years go by, and I sent C an email saying, hey, can we talk? And she said, let's be friends again. I'm like, oh, that's great. So I took her out to lunch. And she died several months later. And the sad thing was, she died 3 months before my father passed. See, she died in December of 2013, and my father died in February of 2014. So that was like 2 deaths, and I didn't find out till months later. And that's still a hard thing for me. So going into that relationship thing, we need that kind of closure, and we want to know what we did wrong, but we still want the communication. It's and I even if we're broken up, I still want to, we still want that sense of belonging, even though they're not together anymore. We just want to know what we did wrong and just still be friends. And to some people, they don't quite understand why we are like that, and it's hard for them to get that. And I understand it and I don't understand it. I tell a lot of people, if the roles were reversed, I would be like, hey, let's talk. And I've talked to so many people, and they said, you can't, you're not serious, but I am. Many people have said, hey, no, you can't do that. That's just not the way people act. I'm like, but that's how Aspies are. We need that, and it hurts us. So that's going into that. Now, like I said, I'm going to cut these up. These are going to be 10 minutes, and I'm going over. So in the next one, we will continue this talk about really the relationships and love and that. So until the next one, peace. So make sure I do it right this time. Peace.